Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. I am the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, joined once again by my faithful manservant / Bucktotem Bertram, and this is my review for Outriders. So my friends, Outriders released a few days ago, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, dear viewer. Before playing the demo, I knew absolutely nothing about this game. In fact, at first I thought the word Outriders referred to dogging. But then I realized they are two very, very different things. I stayed away from all marketing for this game. Didn't watch a single trailer. For all I knew, this game was going to be a biopic of Hitler not committing suicide at the end of World War II, but rather finding a time machine and traveling back to 1888, where he befriends Jack the Ripper and hatches a plot to murder Queen Victoria. It turns out this game is, well, nothing like that, which is disappointing. Now, Outriders was developed by People Can Fly, which is probably the most unrealistic name for a game developer I have ever heard. People cannot fly, as demonstrated by Hans Gruber at the end of Die Hard. So, after playing the demo, which I thought was excellent, I was a little bit disappointed to start the game up and spend over an hour trying to get past the press X to start screen. I suppose it wasn't all bad, though. It did give me time to write a strongly worded letter to my MP, complaining about my neighbor Nigel's bad hygiene, so I suppose every cloud does indeed have a silver lining. In fact, if I'm being honest, I lost count of the amount of times I would be disconnected from the servers mid-game and sent back to the press X to start screen. Though I suppose it wasn't all that bad. You see, it did give me time to shower my manservant with abuse. So again, I suppose every cloud does indeed have a silver lining. And no, before you ask, it wasn't the nice kind of shower like those golden ones I keep hearing about. I suppose, like a baby suffers, the loading issues might just be teething problems. Though I would be horrified if a baby crashed the amount of times this game did. Well, not unless the baby was drink driving, of course. So, what is Outriders all about? Well, I am so glad you asked, dear viewer. From what I could gauge, the story concerns, something about an altar. No, altered. And Outriders. Altered and Outriders doing something. Cooking? I think someone mentioned cooking in the game. No? Okay. I jest. Let's take this a little bit more seriously. For a few moments at least. No, the game's story reminded me of Alien Covenant. Not just because we play as a member of a crew who land on a distant planet in the hope it can be a new home for humanity, but also because not 10 minutes after landing on this planet, one of our crewmates gets infected with some alien biological material thing. And our character is attacked by an alien. Or, as our character actually calls them, cow things. What follows then is a storm that kills most of our crew and imbues the rest with superhuman powers. Our character is put into cryosleep and awakens 30 years later to find themselves in a war. Overall, I enjoyed the story, even if it is a very basic sci-fi plot akin to Mass Effect. Well, Mass Effect, except our character in Outriders is not infected with various STDs. Unlike a certain Commander Shepard, or as I like to call them, the galaxy's biggest whore. So, an alien planet. A catastrophe that gifts your character with superhuman powers. You might be forgiven for thinking this is a Fantastic Four origin story, but you would be wrong, because there hasn't been a good Fantastic Four video game since, but there was that one in 2000, no, that one was bollocks. Then there was that other one that one was also bollocks. Because there has never been a good Fantastic Four video game. Now, Outriders is a third-person shooter, a la Gears of War, The Division, or an average day in the life of an American high school delinquent. Albeit with some light RPG elements. And for those of you who don't know what RPG means, tough. Now, the basic structure of the game is as follows. Go here, shoot lots of enemies, switch to better weapons and gear. Go here, shoot lots of enemies, fight boss, switch to better weapons and gear. Go here. Shoot lots of... I think you get the point. Does that make the game repetitive?
What's the point, huh?
Absolutely. Does it make the game boring? Absolutely not. On the contrary, I had oodles of fun playing Outriders. But please do bear in mind that I do enjoy these types of games. I also enjoy a good massage from a gentleman. I mean, gentlewoman. But that is quite besides the point. Moving on. Now, I was glad to see the game features character customization. But sadly, there is no option to customize your genitalia, which I cried about for 10 seconds before realizing that if I actually modeled my character's genitalia after my own, then my entire playthrough would consist of the female characters pointing at my character's nether regions and laughing uncontrollably. So far, so good, but let's now discuss what isn't so great in Outriders. And let's do it with one very simple running joke. So, voice acting. Well, I've heard better voice acting in a commercial for Tampax. Graphics. Well, I've seen better graphics in a commercial for Tampax. Speaking of graphics, I've seen better character models in an episode of South Park. Based on a commercial for Tampax. Music. I've heard better music in a commercial for Tampax. No, actually, that's a lie. The music in Outriders is excellent. Though, I did hear a nice jingle in a commercial for hemorrhoid cream once. How did it go? Oh yes! Hemorrhoids, 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 making your bum bleed. Hemorrhoids, 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 this cream is what you need. Moving on. Now, this isn't really a negative, but every time you enter and or exit a cutscene, the game would jarringly fade to black, making me think the game was about to end or crash or burst into flames. Now I understand that's probably down to my own anxiety, but still, I feel I must blame the game for said anxiety. I mean, I'm hardly going to blame myself for something that is clearly my problem. What a foolish idea. Now what else can I tell you about Outriders? Oh yes, there are some nice boss fights that... Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say boss fights? I meant bullet sponges. Anyway, there are some nice bullet sponges that are more epic than making love to a WWE wrestler inside a volcano while listening to the Doom Eternal soundtrack. And speaking of boss fights, the villain's name in this game rhymes with bollock, which is rather appropriate, I think, considering his boss fight is a pain in the balls. Now, also, you can play most, if not all, of the game in multiplayer. But I've sadly been forbidden by my wife from playing with people online, because the last time, you see, I was playing with some commoners, and I happened to use a lot of big words and literally caused their heads to explode, like in David Cronenberg's Scanners. Such a sad story. Now, Square Enix have been in my bad books ever since, making me play the gaming equivalent of an enema known as Balin Wonderworld. But thankfully, they have managed to redeem themselves with Outriders. This is a very fun little game that, a few technical problems aside, will hopefully make my top 10 games of 2021 video. Time will tell. Though I do still think my Hitler time travel idea would have been a good one. Therefore, I am going to score Outriders an 8 out of 10. And might I add, it would have been a 9 if it hadn't have been for the bloody technical problems. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My review for Outriders. If you've enjoyed this little review of mine, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't enjoyed it so much, well then, feel free to give me a thumbs down. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, bell button thingy. Feel free to jump over to my Twitch channel, But remember the single most important thing I always tell you, dear viewer, and that is to always stay obsessed with gaming. Yes. Are you still here? Go away! I'm sure you've got something better to do with your time. No, seriously. Piss off! Be gone! Au revoir! Auf Wiedersehen! Bye! What in the hell is wrong with you? Go away! Vacate this space! Hit the cross at the top of the screen! The video is done! It's over! It's finito! It's caputo!